So yeah, United are still United. That was interesting viewing. If anybody watched it tonight, started off United conceding early doors, then they got back into it, and they eventually found a way to throw the game away and lose it to Forest. But look, happens to the best of us. Beating Forest at home, it's not as easy as we all think, right? Yeah, so there we go. So look, we'll talk about that, and of course, just in case anybody's thinking I'm actually having a dig at John W. Henry tonight with a thumbnail, I'm obviously on a wind-up. I'm obviously just trying to inject a bit of humour into the day in the conversation. It's in no way down to John W. Henry or FSG that the derby was postponed today. It's going to be interesting tomorrow now if Arsenal or Chelsea win, seeing particularly Arsenal fans, let's be honest, talking about, 4-point gap now. They'll neglect to mention the other 3 points that, we could pick up at Everton. But I think, look, can we all say now, City are done? Because I know there was still a few stragglers last week that believed that Manchester City weren't perhaps done yet. Surely now today we can say that they're done. Back to 8 points, 11 if we win our game in hand. They've won 1 game in 9 or something like that. Surely now we can all say that Manchester City are done and dusted in the Premier League title race this season. Even Neville, even old Gary is coming out and saying that they're done. Joshua, thank you, bro. First super chat of the night. Appreciate you, sir. So the only thing different about United is that their manager has hair. Yep, maybe. Now look, I'm not going to lie. I do think he's a better coach, but it's going to take a while, like we've said, for him to get to grips with that Manchester United dressing room, because he's got a lot of players that just aren't good enough there. In all honesty, City drew and United lost, said Nick. Yes, they did. And do you know what? I think City were lucky to get a draw, in all honesty. I think Palace were by far the better team. I was watching the game earlier on. The United game, look, United are just United. What can you say about them? And look, fair play to Forest. They've now beaten us at Anfield and beaten United at Old Trafford. So, great result for Nottingham Forest fans today. I'm thinking of one in particular. Not my wife. You know where I'm going with that. And Newcastle lost as well, yeah. 4-2, I think it was, Coach Bill to Brentford, if my memory is correct. So yeah, look, tomorrow's going to be an interesting day in the Premier League as well. You've got a load of London games on. Obviously, Arsenal going to Craven Cottage to take on Fulham. That'll be an interesting one to sit back and watch. And then obviously Chelsea Spurs as well. Ash said, can see Arsenal smashing Fulham tomorrow. They seem to be back near enough their best. I don't think it's going to be easy for them. Fulham are a decent side on the Marco Silva. They've got some very good results this season. Look, Arsenal probably will win it. I agree with you on that one. But it would be a big statement if they went there and beat them by 3 or something like that. If you think about it as well, from an Arsenal or from a Fulham perspective, they have players there like Iwobi and the other kid, what's his name, that Smith Rowe, that will want to prove a point to Arsenal as well, that they shouldn't have let them go. So yeah, it'll be an interesting one. So will Chelsea and Spurs. That'll be a very interesting game tomorrow as well. United are so terrible. They were so poor. And do you know what? That referee was giving United everything. That free kick they got where Fernandes hit the crossbar was some load of crap. Defender wins the ball and the ref gives a free. He was trying everything to get them back into that game. But you got to give Forest their credit. How about the Onana nightmare? Yeah, look, and Onana, Daniel, has been quite decent for United in recent times. But I don't know what happened to him today. Did that take a nick or something? Because it's certainly weird, that goal right at the start of the second half. Who do you think will challenge us most top of the league, Arsenal or Chelsea? So I think it's probably going to be Arsenal, Harry. I think they have the pedigree at this point. Chelsea are doing brilliantly under Maresca. Like, they deserve the credit for the start of the season they've had. But they are still a relatively young and inexperienced squad overall. So I think they may have a couple of sticky points. But in the future, seasons moving on, they certainly look like they're in a good spot. But I would say Arsenal for this season. By the way, lads, Guardiola's losing it. Honestly, like, genuinely, I'm not trying to. Some of his answers are becoming absolutely nonsensical bollocks of the highest order. Of course, I want to be respectful of genuine mental health issues. I always want to tread carefully in this discussion, but from a footballing pressure managerial perspective, he isn't half coming out with some nonsense in some of his interviews now when he's been asked questions.